What's up everybody, and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the 2025 Nissan Frontier. This is a Pro-4X finished off in Afterburn Orange with an MSRP at $48,400. Big shout out to Flo Nissan of Statesville for providing this new truck for today's video. Take a look at their website, linked down below. Underneath the hood of the 2025 Nissan Frontier, you're going to find that naturally aspirated 3.8 liter 6-cylinder motor. This V6 makes 310 horsepower with 281 pound-feet of torque. It's paired to a 9-speed automatic transmission and has a 4-wheel drive transfer case. Overall curb weight is 4,800 pounds, max payload is 1,200 pounds, max towing is 6,300 pounds, and this truck even runs on a 21.1 gallon fuel tank. With that, you're going to expect about 16 miles per gallon in the city with 20 out on the highway. The overall length is 210.2 inches with a wheelbase at 126, width is 74.7, and height is 72.9. And for some off-road capabilities, approach angle is 33 degrees, breakover angle is 20 degrees, ground clearance is 8.6 inches, with departure angle at 24 degrees. Moving on to the exterior styling, with the updated 2025 Nissan Frontier, you got a nice new front grille. You're going to see some LEDs within the headlights with a chrome housing, and then for the grille there's this nice silver trim in the upper section, Nissan badge with a forward-facing camera. Then you can see all the mesh openings to provide tons of cooling to the 6-cylinder. We have a safety sensor down below as well. There's also going to be these nice red metal tow hooks. There's an aluminum skid plate down below as well with some silver trim. Has a nice update from the previous years with that whole front grille surround. You can see some trim throughout the side with a fog light down below. Has a pretty cool look, definitely gives it that more rugged off-road appearance being a Pro-4X. You're going to get some nice body lines throughout the hood to give it a sharp design. And then making our way to the side profile, you can see how we have a little bit of the plastic black for the fender flare to protect the paint, an all-terrain set of tires, and then a nice set of 17-inch wheels. I like the new design, especially for these spokes, super unique looking. Got a reflector on one side, then a sharp body line cutting through the entire side profile. Down below we have a set of rock sliders that have removable steps, which is a great touch. Mud flaps on this truck as well, and then you can see body color on the mirrors with an integrated camera. We have body color door handles and all black surrounding these windows. At the side profile, this is a pretty good looking profile. You can see how proportional everything looks with the full 4-door. You can see the shark fin antenna up on top, sliding rear glass window, Pro-4X badge, and then another look at the fender flares with the wheel and tire combo. In back, you are going to get body color on these bumper caps. Have a nice look, thick plastic. Then you can see we have all of your parking sensors with plastic material throughout the center. Trailer hitches down below that with all of your connections by the license plate. We have a nice tucked away exhaust tip. And then Frontier is written in the entire tailgate. And I like the trim up above. You got the Nissan badge and then this gray color accent like we saw on the Titan Pro-4X logo as well. And then a backup camera with a lockable tailgate. So nice little updates for the new Frontier. Good set of taillights. Comes together really well. Taking a look at the key fob, you have the familiar Nissan key fob with lock, unlock, remote start, manual key inside of it. All you have to do is grab the door handle. You do have the button, you can lock and unlock it as well. This one's going to get the fabric interior. A leather type material is also available. For the door panel, finished off mainly in black plastic. You have the harder plastic up here with the soft touch vinyl throughout the center. Got your release handle, all of your window and mirror controls, lock and unlock, good grab handle, and then some padding for the armrest with contrast stitching. I like this orange accent with this cool carbon fiber look, and then storage all down below with a Fender audio system. You are going to get all power controls on the seat with adjustable lumbar, contrast stitching throughout the fabric with a nice rugged design for the center of these inserts, and then Pro-4X is up on the backrest. Nice look all the way up to the headrest, and then a black leather steering wheel with contrast stitching. And then now inside the 2025 Nissan Frontier, keep my foot on the brake. Let's fire it up. You get your nice gauge cluster with analog tach and speedometer, nice animation playing throughout the center. And then we can go left and right and see all sorts of different information that's going to pop up. We have all sorts of settings. You can see some information within the vehicle as well, safety information, basically everything you're used to seeing on a lot of modern Nissan. So nice use of design, some off-road settings as well. Back to the home screen. For the steering wheel, you got your Nissan logo right in the center. All of those controls on the left side with your volume as well as Bluetooth. And then on the right side, we have cruise control settings. On the far right side for the stock, we have windshield wiper controls, and then stock on the left side for headlights as well as turn signal. And then on the left side of the steering wheel, we have your tow mode, interior dimming, safety sensors you're able to adjust, the power outlet, downhill assist, locking differential, as well as traction control. One of your air vents on the left side, then just some black plastic material throughout the dash. You have some storage up here as well. And then this smooth faux leather and faux stitching design for that right side airbag cover. So for 2025, you do now have this new larger screen. Has a good look. It fills out the center very well. I do like how Frontier is written out in this orange color. The screen itself is basically what we've seen in the previous Nissan. So basically all of your typical designs that you can configure. You have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You have all sorts of different settings you can go through here, and then different settings right there. Now for the right screen, basically what you're able to adjust when you customize a split screen, you could have basically 3 different things. So not a bad design, nothing really too crazy comparing it to previous generations, just a nice update. And then for the backup camera, you got that along with a top-down view, and then really just a warning label on the right side. Beneath that, you do have some physical controls. You have a shortcut to the camera you're able to view, your menu icon as well, a few other designs. You can configure volume on the left, tuning on the right, and you're still gonna have physical climate controls all down below. We have the dual zone temperature, you're able to sync them. You can see that, different controls and fan speed, all of your defrost, and then 4-wheel drive select on the left side. We have heated seats and steering wheel, parking sensors, and some plugs, and then extra storage space all down below. You have 2 nice size cup holders, your gear select, and then we have a wireless phone charging pad down below that. You have some padding on the armrest with more of this contrast stitching, and then a pretty nice size glove box in the center, as well as a lockable one on this right side. Pretty good bucket in here, and then there's even a plug over here for a 12 volt. One last look at the interior. Nice contrast throughout with all the orange accents. It does come together very well, pretty much the same as the previous years, just a little bit larger screen design. Up above, you're gonna get a really basic manual mirror, and then we can pop this down for a large sunglass holder with dome lights up above. Moving on to the rear seat space, grabbing the door handle, opening it up. Door panel is basically finished off like the front. You're gonna get all the black material with this padded design in the center, contrast stitching along your armrest pad, and then all the same materials in the back for this bench seat. Got nice contrast to it. In the center, you are able to pull this down, and you have a nice armrest with cup holders. There's no air vents back here, but we have 2 different USBs, a 3-prong outlet as well, and then storage on the back side of the passenger seat. There's also going to be the manual sliding rear glass, and then you can pull these latches, and these will fold down with the headrest flat, and you can see we have just a little bit of carpet material, which is a tad bit of storage. And if you pull this lever up, you can pull the whole base upwards. On this side, we get a Fender subwoofer down below, and then if you lift the other seat cushion up, you're going to get a nice storage cubby all underneath these seats. Onto the back seats with the Nissan Frontier. So I am 5'11" sitting here, pretty good amount of headroom. The driver's seat is at my height and my knees are pretty close to the seat. The seat itself back here is honestly pretty cramped. The bottom is pretty low to where my legs are kind of high up, not really too much leg support, and the backrest is basically straight up. So I would say this is on the cramped side comparing it to any other midsize. I don't think I'd really want to be back here all too much longer. Only real amenities are just the cup holders and armrests. It's certainly usable in a pinch, but this is definitely a very cramped midsize truck. Moving on to the bed space with the Frontier, we can just grab the handle. It somewhat has a soft open, and then you're gonna see a spray and bed liner. There are LED lights in the corners. You're also gonna see hooks as well. And then we have aluminum rails on the sides as well as the front. You can easily fit 2 dirt bikes in the back, so it's still a pretty practical truck for having a little bit smaller bed than the competition. On the bed itself, you can see we have some plastic for the liner. It doesn't really weigh all too much, and we can easily close it up. So setting off now in the Pro-4X. So you got that V6. It does give you a pretty good smooth power delivery. Of course, the turbos and other ones are gonna give you more of that low end torque. So this car is actually pretty decently quick for being what it is. It's actually overall a little faster than some of the 4-cylinders. However, you do have to wring out the engine more. So this is gonna be a little bit different the way you're gonna be driving a V6 versus an inline turbocharged 4-cylinder. Now, this is the most off-roading we're gonna do. Just hitting a little bit of gravel. This is a pretty capable off-road if you are gonna be going off-roading. It's not exactly the best off-roader out there with the ground clearance and everything like that. However, if you are truly gonna go hit the trails, you know, a nice lift kit, a little bigger wheels and tires, and this is gonna be a pretty capable truck, especially with the locker or the 4-wheel drive system and everything like that. It's also very robust, which is what a lot of people are gonna love about having a V6 in a mid-size truck. Getting back up to some speed, like I said, it's a nice smooth power delivery. You really can't complain. Pretty good seating position too. I feel honestly really comfortable in this front seat. Now the steering is pretty heavy. Now when you're driving normal, you don't really notice it, but it's just the parking lot speed. You're gonna notice the steering just has more weight to it when you compare it to every single other truck in this class. I know people are gonna make fun of me and say I must not be able to steer this. Obviously you can do it, it's not like you can't. However, it is just noticeably heavier than every other truck in this class. But that does give you a more mechanical feel, and when you are up and driving, it does feel very solid, very connected, which you are losing that with some of the more modern, up-to-date trucks. So as far as just cruising and everything, there's not really any tire noise, wind noise, road noise. Even the engine itself is actually really quiet. I would say this drives kind of like a tank. It drives like it's a tough truck. And I think, you know, the Nissan Frontier is kind of interesting. It's technically out of date when you compare it to the main trucks in this class, but a lot of people like that because it's just old school. And when you're driving this, you can feel that. It just feels like a solid truck, and yet it's a midsize. So you're able to get something very robust and solid feeling without having to spend, you know, 70, 80 grand on a full-size truck in today's market when everything is really expensive. Using the interior is very simple while driving. Again, it's very simple with some analog gauges. This new screen honestly isn't really anything different than the old one. It just has this extra section which doesn't actually have really anything on it. So kind of interesting to not truly integrate this whole screen and actually have stuff on it. But I mean, I guess it does kind of look cool in here. It does look better than the previous gen, just not really getting any true use out of it. Good legroom in here too. The seat is a little on the hard side, but still very padded, and just a good view around, of course, being a nice midsize. So can't really complain too much. It kind of drives like you would expect just a typical midsize to drive. So turning around to my honest thoughts with the Nissan Frontier. A lot of people love this truck, particularly because it's the last man standing. When you look at the rest of the midsize trucks, like I said, this is the only V6. Now, yes, the Jeep Gladiator and the Honda Ridgeline still exist with V6s. However, that's a different buyer, just a different kind of truck. The normal traditional midsize, the Tacoma, the Ranger, the Canyon, the Colorado, they're all 4-cylinders, and there is a large population that just doesn't like that and will not buy one. I don't mind them, but nonetheless, a lot of people just don't want that in their midsize. And from what I'm seeing, especially in the comments from all of you guys, a lot of truck buyers just don't care about all the modern tech and a 4-cylinder. And those are the two biggest things that differentiate the Frontier from the other top selling trucks in this class. You got a tried and true robust V6. Yeah, you're probably never going to really have an issue with this. You can work on it yourself for decades, and this is going to be a super dependable truck. Not to say the 4-cylinders won't. I have high hopes for them, but some people just don't want to dive into a turbo, which is perfectly fine, and it's nice that Nissan gives you this truck. With that said, the tech is so simple, it's nothing really new, which can also hurt the Frontier. You know, a lot of people look at this truck as it's old, it's nothing really anything new. Even with this 2025 facelift, the screen really isn't any different than the old one. It's just this extra piece that, I mean, it's a clock, there's nothing really on it. So a little interesting why they didn't truly integrate like you've seen on other Nissans. So maybe that's going to come in a software update. You know, when you look at other 2025 Nissans and Infinitis, they do have a pretty nice new screen, which I've actually enjoyed quite a bit using. All right, giving a little bit of throttle, squealing the tires by accident. But you know, it's a smooth to drive truck. It does everything you need, and I don't think there's a true complaint with just what it has to offer. My only complaint, I would say, is just it is a little cramped. I think the back seats are very cramped for me. I can fit a lot better in all the other midsize trucks in the back. Now, not to say that you're buying a midsize to put your grown-up friends in the back. You might put your kids in the back, and that's probably more for what the back seats in a midsize truck are for. Kids and storage. So kids, I don't think they'll have an issue sitting back there. So that's not really maybe the biggest issue for most midsize truck buyers. It has the storage, of course, to use it. The bed, a little smaller than others, but still plenty useful. These aren't work trucks like Super Duty is going to be used for. So for recreational use, for storage in the back, your young kids, you know, it's still going to have the good space. It's just when you do compare it to the competition, it is on the cramped side. But overall, I think the Nissan Frontier offers something different, and there's enough buyers out there, especially with what we've seen from you all, that are gonna go for this nowadays over the competition because of its old school aspects. So this truck is not for everybody, I would say. But I think it's nice that Nissan does make something simple, and a lot of their vehicles are affordable and just simple. And in a day and age where everything is so expensive, you know, you look at the Tacoma, Ranger, the GMC, and the Chevy, it's not really hard to spend 60 grand on one of them. This one, even fully loaded with leather, is not even gonna be 50 grand. So you're gonna save a lot of money if you go for this, and it's just gonna be simple, tried and true. That is it then for the 2025 Nissan Frontier Pro 4X. Bright color for this spec, of course. Looks pretty cool. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, stay tuned for plenty more content. And big shout out to Flo Nissan of Statesville for providing this truck for today's video. Take a look at their website, linked below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.